Thank you, Shukran. So before I get Tuan Shaki to share about the Indonesian regulation, I would like to thank everyone for coming here today. That's number one. Secondly, just to share with you, it's really difficult actually to get all the three regulators to be here with us today. So I think everyone here, I think you guys are very lucky. But we have talked to our regulator counterparts that we need to have more of such discussions. But I think, as you may well be aware, that the limitation resources is real. So which is why, so just to share with everyone, my name is Farhan. So I'm representing the Malaysian Research Accelerator for Technology and Innovation. So some of you may be wondering, why is it a government agency under MOSTI is dabbling into this drone industry? So for your information, because drone industry in Malaysia, and probably not just in Malaysia, but globally as well, is considered as an emerging technology. So there are a lot of constraints, challenges in terms of operating a drone where the regulation existing is not yet ready or available to keep up. So to give credit to the regulators in Malaysia, people like CIRIM, CAM, JUPAM, CGSO, PDRM, the risk is real. So I think just now, Cik Rostam shared 60,000 over drones registered in Malaysia. Registered. Unregistered, I'm telling you, there are more than that. And last year alone, under CIRIM, under CM, there's only 1,000 applications permit that was requested by those of you in this room, probably those of you who are not in this room, and then not considering the UAV, recreational players. So there are a lot of people out there who thinks that it's easy to acquire a drone. And I always tell this to my minister, YB Al-Hababa, having a drone in the next 1 year is like having a phone at your home. So every household in Malaysia can have access to a drone as easy as having a phone. And for businesses, so whether you are a private business, whether you are doing drone service or not, highly likely you have your own drones at your office. So that is the reality. But in Malaysia, as a government agency, from MranTi side, we are supporting the industry. We need to make sure that the drone industry in Malaysia flourish and grow, because we know that there are a lot of companies, those of you are in this room as well, who are successful in building a drone business. So we do not want to hinder the growth of the industry. However, we need to make sure that on the regulation part, on the government side, we would be able to support as well. So which is why a month ago, the Malaysia DroneTech Action Plan 2022 to 2030 was announced by the Prime Minister, our previous Prime Minister of Malaysia, which the initiative will go on, where we have these 8 missions. So among the 8 missions are ensuring that the infrastructure is available, ensuring that the industry is ready. For example, we need to have an unmanned traffic management system. But who is helping CM to acquire that allocation to be able to support the drone industry? How are you going to monitor thousands of drones in agriculture? How are we developing talents to ensure that the talents that we push into the industry meet the industry requirements? So these are the 8 missions that we will be doing. We will be inviting everyone to be part of this action plan as well. And most importantly, the mission is going to help us achieve 50.71 billion in GDP contribution and creation of 100,000 jobs within the drone industry by 2030. So that is the goal. So right now, we are working with all the relevant authorities, government ministries, to make sure that now everyone is talking to each other. So I understand right now you are talking to multiple parties, but rest assured, for the past 4 years, there are a lot of things being developed at the back end. The guys at JUPAM understands the challenges, those Cik Rustam on a daily basis, Captain Akila and her team is barely 2 years old in CM in Malaysia. So I think what they need right now is the support from the industry. You have to share your data with us so that we would be able to take all this information back to the government, and from there, the government will see that they will need to spend more allocation towards the industry. And that is what we are going to do right now. So under this Malaysia DroneTech Action Plan, we'll be sending out surveys, we'll be gathering information and data. So hopefully everyone in this room and those who are at home, tell your friends, your industry partners, share your information with us once we send out the survey soon. So your information will be escalated to Ministry of Finance, to the EPU, to make sure that relevant ministries, agencies will be able to understand that the drone industry in Malaysia is huge and the government have to support. Alright? So I think that's it from me. Thank you so much for being here today. So without further ado, Colonel Shaki, are you ready? Okay, so at least we'll get Colonel Shaki to share about what is the situation is like in Indonesia. How are they operating right now? Or what are the opportunities that is available in Indonesia that companies in Malaysia or even in Singapore. So Malaysia right now is one of the biggest market for drone adoption. So if you are not in agriculture, you servicing drone in agriculture, you have to do it now. So Malaysia has 6 billion hectares of palm oil plantation, 600,000 hectares of paddy. So based on rough calculation, I told my friend Jinzi from Polar Drone, he is making now, he has produced about 2,000 drones for the past 3 years, roughly. Within the next 3 to 5 years, to be able to capture even 100,000 hectares, you need thousands, 10,000s of drones to be operational in Malaysia market alone. But imagine the same sector, for example like plantation, palm oil, once you start in Malaysia, you're able to grow your service to Indonesia, to Thailand, Africa, Brazil. So JX, so those who don't know, Polar Drone, or now called Ionic, they have a booth down there. You can go and meet them. So if you do not have a product yet, but you would like to go into the market, go and get facilitation from Polar Drone and start Ionic and start your business there. So I understand there's a lot of companies, there's a lot of universities partner, researchers who like to develop your own technology and drones. So that is where MranTi will come in as well to facilitate you to get your product from ideation to commercialization. But I think it's also important to make sure that you have a business model that works, to make sure that your business survives. So what we do right now is those who are within our ecosystem, we will try and help to get you to operate and service immediately if you are ready. So we have companies, we have incentives by the government even. If you are going into the agriculture sector, for example, AgroBank have a program for the farmers to actually buy equipment. So these equipments, instead of procuring probably foreign drones, so you can go and get in touch with JX. So those who don't know JX, so that's JX there. Alright, so I think this is something that we all need to do together. So being, expanding the adoption of drones in all these various sectors. So some sectors are riskier than most. So although we have a lot of growth for the drone adoption in the agriculture industry, the risk of operating a drone in this sector is lower than you using your drone probably in telecommunication, oil and gas, or even inspection in infrastructure or energy sector. So I think for the higher risk operations and industry. This is where we need to work together with our civil aviation authority partners. Whatever information that you have, whatever technology that you have right now, this is something that we need you to tell us. So just to share with you, the unmanned traffic management system that probably you've seen Captain Akila share. So right now in Malaysia, on the private side, we have only identified 4 UTM system providers. So one of them is local, 3 of them is foreign. So within the next few months, 6 to 12 months, before the unmanned traffic management system by CEM is ready, you can acquire and use other UTM system providers, but share that information with the Civil Aviation Authority so that they would be able to understand what kind of system would be able to comply with their requirement. So this is something that we are constantly learning. So if you have new technology that can make sure that your drone would be safe in any kind of operation, so these are the things that CM would like to see. So if you can reduce that risk, you reduce the risk of operation, you reduce the risk for CM, because I think recently all of you may have that the rating for CM is now being reinstated to A rating, category 1. So congratulations to CM. So I think this includes, the availability of the Civil Aviation Authority in Malaysia to have a specific department to manage the drone industry within its own country. But to tell you the truth, 5 people, no system, is not going to be enough for them. But for Captain Akila to go to Ministry of Transport to say that instead of 10 million ringgit, they probably need 50 million ringgit to hire resources, to build infrastructure all over Malaysia. But for them to do that, they will need to understand that in Malaysia, there are not 200 players that is currently in our database. There are probably 500 or 1,000. So when we identify all that and the justification is clear, that it is not, it is not just a risk factor, but it is also creation of economy, creation of jobs that the government would be able to get. Alright? So I think with that, I would like to thank you everyone. I think we'll get Colonel Shaki to share about the Indonesian market and also regulation regarding drones. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Ada satu soalan.
Yes, Mr. Farhan, ada tak MranTi merancang di one-stop center for drone dan semua?
Yeah.
Easy.
Okay. So I did mention just now because our website is actually going to be up this coming Friday. But as all of you may be well aware, so Japan have their own website information, CM have their own, SIRIM have their own, CJSO pun ada, MCMC pun ada. So we will be sharing with everyone by Friday our one-stop center for drone information. So this is where we are going to share, but there will be a link to respective agencies as well, but it will be easier for the industry players, the community to know about what's going on in Malaysia drone ecosystem. Alright, thank you so much.